Get ready for the Great North Wrestling Podcast, the official podcast of the Hannibal TV, Canada's #1 pro wrestling YouTube channel, with your host, GNW wrestler and the Hannibal TV lead reporter, Devin Hannibal Nicholson.
This is Hannibal from thehannibaltv.com, and on the line I have former Tough Enough competitor and former Impact Wrestling Knockouts champion, Laurel Van Ness, who is now known as Chelsea Green. How are you doing today, Laurel? Or Chelsea, I should say.
I'm good, thank you. Thank you very much for having me.
Oh, it's a pleasure, and we're looking forward to your Great North Wrestling debut May 12th at Cage Wars 2 in Brockville, Ontario. And before I get into that, you mentioned that Laurel Van Ness was kind of your old name, and now you're going by Chelsea Green. Is that correct?
Well, I've always been, on the indies, I've always been Chelsea Green. I was only Laurel Van Ness on TV. So no matter what I do, whether it's a hot mess gimmick or regular, normal babyface wrestler, it's always Chelsea Green now. So people can kind of expect that from me in the future.
Now, for people that don't know, I understand you were trained by Lance Storm.
Yeah, I was. Back in 2014, I was trained by Lance Storm in his 3-month program.
Now, what was training by him like? He's known as being an excellent technical wrestler, of course.
Well, honestly, he is the best at everything. He taught me every single thing I know, from locking up to cutting promos to everything in and out of the ring, even, etiquette and things like that. He's just an amazing human all around, and anyone that is training with him is so lucky to have him.
And you were lucky enough to be part of the most recent Tough Enough put on by WWE that I guess was done in 2015, so that would have been pretty shortly after you started wrestling. What made you apply for that, and what was the experience like?
I didn't apply for it. WWE came to me about that because I had been at a Divas tryout in 2015 or 14. I can't remember, one of those years. So I had done a tryout, and I had done well in the tryout, and at the tryout, the producers of Tough Enough were there. So they were scouting as WWE was having the tryouts, and that's how it all came about. So it was awesome. Of course, I accepted when they asked me if I wanted to be on Tough Enough. I accepted it, and was put through the Tough Enough tryout after that.
Now, what was your favorite memory of that whole series? Because I believe it was pretty successful, other than the wrestlers that ultimately won didn't make it.
Well, I just loved being at the Performance Center and being able to train under Billy Gunn and Lita and Booker. They were amazing, and they really helped me. I mean, I was the only female wrestler at the time. The other girls were power lifters and bikini models and things like that. So they really helped me kind of come out of my shell, and I still go to them for advice, even now. So I've made lifelong friends from that experience.
And you finished in 4th place out of the females. Was there ever any contract offer or anything on the table after that?
No, if there was a contract offer, I would have taken it.
So from there, you ended up shortly after joining Impact Wrestling. How did that whole situation arise?
I met Madison Rain at a WrestleCade a couple of years ago, right after Tough Enough, and she asked me if I had ever thought of Impact. And at the time, I was honest, and I hadn't thought of Impact because my goal was to go to WWE, and I had that tunnel vision. But my eyes were kind of open to a world outside of WWE when I met Madison, and a few months later, she was able to get me a tryout. So that's kind of how I got my foot in the door originally. And then from there, it just took time and a couple of tryout matches and things like that for Impact to decide that they wanted me.
And you, of course, became Knockouts champion in Ottawa. Actually, I ended up seeing the match the night that you won, and I thought it was the best match of the event. What was that like to win the Knockouts title that women such as Gail Kim have held, and winning it in Canada, where you're from?
I think that that's what really meant something to me, was winning it in Canada. Because for my entire span at Impact, I really didn't think that there was even a chance we would ever be in Canada. And seeing NXT go up to Canada and seeing WWE go up to Canada, it made me, I was jealous because I so badly wanted to wrestle in front of friends and family and just, my fellow Canadians. So I was so appreciative of that moment, to have that moment with Canadian fans in an arena in Canada. Like, it was so awesome. I couldn't have asked for anything better. And to be able to hold that title, it's a lot of responsibility, but I felt that they trusted me with it, and so I had confidence in myself.
And a lot of people in the wrestling world were shocked when shortly after you winning the title, it was going through the wrestling rumor mill that you had asked for your Impact Wrestling release. Is there any reason in particular that you asked for your release other than possibly that tunnel vision you've been talking about WWE?
No, at this point, WWE isn't on my radar anymore. That was just a personal decision. I am someone who wants to set new goals and accomplish new things, and I felt that I had kind of ran my course in Impact at this time. Not saying that I would never go back, because I love the locker room and the friends that I've made there and everything. But you need to at this point in my life, I need to keep taking a step up the ladder and kind of expanding my horizons and things like that. So, the next step was to go back out onto the indies and kind of build my self-confidence as a wrestler and grow my name and things like that. And I'm really happy with my decision. Although, of course, I miss the actual going to tapings and I miss my friends and everything. Like, I still see those girls all the time, and we have social media. I see everything that's going on with Impact. I watch it every Thursday, so there's definitely no hard feelings there.
And you recently debuted in Lucha Underground. What are your thoughts on Lucha Underground and working with them now?
I don't work with them. I didn't debut or anything. I just had a dark match, so like a tryout match. It was a lot of fun. Of course, my friend Taya Valkyrie, she is the one that kind of hooked me up with that. So I'm forever grateful for that experience, and just being able to shake new hands and introduce myself and again expand my horizons to something different. It was such a cool experience.
And you also date Zack Ryder, which is a pretty interesting relationship. You often post about it on your social media. Did you guys meet in Tough Enough, or do you just live in the same area, or how did that come about?
No, we were actually set up by Brandy and Cody Rhodes. Cody and Brandy are good friends with Matt or Zach, and I worked with them for a little bit at Impact. So they set us up last year, and then the rest is history.
Does he also live in Orlando, or do you guys travel to see each other?
Oh, we both live in Orlando. We actually found out on our first date that we lived about 10 minutes away from each other. Now we live together in Orlando. But yeah, it's kind of funny how things like that happen. You live. We went to the same gym together, to the same grocery store, and we never had met before.
And I recently saw on your social media that you brought him home around Christmas to meet your family in Victoria.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, he's taken a couple trips to Canada with me.
Now, you talked about do you like trying interesting and new things in the wrestling business. For your Great North Wrestling debut coming up May 12th in Brockville, you're actually going to be wrestling inside of a mixed martial arts cage, probably for the first time in your career, and you're going to be taking on Lady Yasmin, who has held the Great North Wrestling Women's Championship of Canada since last August, and she's by far been the most popular female wrestler in the history of our company, which has been around for over 10 years. I'm wondering what your strategy is going into a match like this inside of a MMA cage environment. I'm guessing that your technical training by Lance Storm will help you in this kind of environment.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Lance Storm has taught me, I mean, even I have worked shows where you can't hit the ropes and things like this, and he's taught me to be able to work in any situation. So, yes, this is going to be something different and something a little trickier than usual, but I'm looking forward to it. I'm so excited to, again, be back in Canada, and I'd wrestle, outside on a field if that's where I needed to wrestle, and hopefully win a new title and a Canadian title at that. So I am looking forward to it. It's going to be tricky, but I'm so excited.
And what message would you send to Lady Yasmin? She probably will hear this interview, I assume. She's been wrestling. She actually had her very first match in our company about 2 years ago, and she's had incredible success. I don't know if you've heard of Vanessa Craven, who's a top female athlete. She's defeated her. She won a four-way women's ladder match to win this title initially, and she's had a lot of success, but she is newer to the business than you. So I'm just wondering what you would tell her if she could hear what you're going to say going into this match.
I mean, all I can say is that I'm ready. I haven't been in the business for years and years. This is probably going to be a fairly fair competition for her and a very even competition for her. But at the end of the day, it's whoever has heart. That's who's going to go far, and that's who's going to, win this title. So she better get in the ring and start training her butt off because I am ready.
And for fans listening to this that are going to be coming out to the event in Brockville, of course, tickets are on sale now at ticketweb.ca, and more information is at greatnorthwrestling.ca. And I understand you're also going to be meeting fans at this event, and you'll be signing autographs and so forth. Is that correct?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I'll have my 8x10s with me, hopefully have some T-shirts left. And I can't wait to meet everyone. I'm really excited. I haven't been to Brockville yet, so this is going to be my first time.
And finally, for the fans that want to follow you that are listening to this, do you want to let us know your social media accounts?
Yeah, so I hope I don't get this wrong. Oh my gosh, I'm the worst with my social media. But my Twitter is at I'm Chelsea Green, and my Instagram is Chelsea A. Green, and then you can also follow my Facebook fan page, which is under Chelsea Green. And I love interacting with fans. I love hearing from everybody. So feel free to, comment, like, whatever. I see it all.
Excellent. To close this off, any final message you want to give to our listeners and possibly Lady Yasmin?
I mean, I'm just super excited to get up there, and I can't wait to meet everyone, including the infamous Lady Yasmin, and I'm excited to put on a...
That's all for this episode of the Great North Wrestling Podcast. Be sure to visit thehannibaltv.com for Great North Wrestling news, links, and live event information. Subscribe to the Hannibal TV on YouTube and subscribe to the GNW podcast at greatnorthwrestling.podomatic.com for instant downloads of our latest audio content.
one hell of a match.